Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So recently I've been doing quite a bit of work on the Camaro, and one thing I noticed, I'll show you here. Okay, here's the front passenger side tire. See how it turns smoothly? And you come to the driver's side and the brake's sticking. So today I'm going to go around and grease all the slider pins. You don't want your brakes to be dragging like that. They can get hot and wear out. Okay, so we'll start by removing the wheel. So I can barely turn it by hand. She's definitely dragging. Okay, so we'll start by removing the caliper from the bracket here. Hopefully it'll slide right off, and then we can just hang it off the side, and then we'll remove this caliper bracket, and that's where the pins need to be cleaned in here. Okay, so these are 12 millimeter. They shouldn't be too tight. Okay, so I gotta get a wrench on here to keep that from turning. Okay, so we got the top one. Okay, let's see if that'll come off. Yeah. Good. There. Okay, now we just gotta remove the bracket. Might be able to slide these pads right out. Just remember the inside one's got that little scraper. These caliper brackets are held on by 218 millimeters, and they're probably on there quite a bit tighter. Probably be easier just to use a breaker bar. So I'll just use this old torque wrench for a breaker bar because it doesn't work no more. The clicker or whatever's gone. They don't seem to be that sticky, but anyway, we'll take them apart, clean them and grease them. You just pop these rubbers off, and then they'll come right out. And what we want to do is get down in and clean this all out. Clean these all off and then re-grease them. Okay, now it'd also be a good time to check your wheel bearing and see if it's smooth, and it is. Another thing I'll do, I'll put a couple lug nuts on so that rotor's on there nice and straight. That'll make it easier to put the caliper back on. So I clean these with brake clean them off real good. And now we want to grease them. I sprayed brake clean down in there, and I got a rag and tried to get down in there and get all that stuff out. So you want to use brake grease, which is silicone based grease, so that it doesn't affect the rubber. Petroleum, I think, will break down the rubbers. So we'll grease her up good. Slide her right in. And I'll just put a little dab of grease here. Put a little bit of Loctite on the bolt. Okay, so I looked up the torque for the caliper brackets, and 74 seems to be what most people are saying. But like I said, on the internet you'll get a dozen different answers, but I'm going to go with 74. Okay, so we'll put the pads back in. We'll just put a little bit of grease on the back of the pad where the piston meets the pad. One thing I forgot is this. I'm not sure if that goes in the top of this thing. Anyway, I had to go around to the other side to see how that went in there. And it comes up in here and there. Hooks in like that. Now we can put her back together. So we'll just put a little dab of Loctite on these ones. These ones only need 23 foot-pounds. So I guess we got her all back together. Now we'll see. Before I couldn't spin it by hand, now I can. Okay guys, so I got the wheel back on. Now she spins freely. There's a little bit of drag. The brake's going to have a little tiny bit of drag, but the wheel should still be able to spin a little bit. There, that's a 1/10 in the quarter mile right there. Okay guys, so I did the front driver side and the front passenger side, and I've already done the rear passenger side. So now we're going to do the driver's passenger side. Got to remove the wheel. Okay, so this one here uses 15 millimeter for both the caliper bracket and the caliper itself. Okay, so we'll start with the top one, and we'll go to the bottom. Something else I'll do is I'll put a couple lug nuts on that'll hold the rotor in place. Makes it easier to get the caliper on and off. We should be able to remove the caliper. Just hang the caliper over there out of the way. And there's two 15 millimeters holding on the bracket, and we'll remove the brake pads. You can tell the difference. The one with the scraper goes on the back. And the caliper brackets, the two 15 millimeters are probably on there pretty good, so you might want a breaker bar. Okay, the sliders on this are pretty good. Well, that one's kind of sticky. Anyway, you just remove them. We'll get down in there, use brake clean, and what I've been using is Q-tips to clean all the old stuff out. Okay, so once you get these all cleaned out, and you get your pins all cleaned up, just re-grease them, same as we did the front ones. Then you can apply a little bit of grease here. It's really up to you if you want to do that. Some people say not to, so apply some Loctite on the bolt. Okay, next you want to torque bolts. The torque specs I looked up said 74 for these and 23 for these ones. You'll get quite a few different torque ratings, so you might want to look it up for yourself, but I'm going to go with 80. I'm going to go with 80 on these, and I am going to go with 23 on these because the bolt's quite small. Put our brake pads back on. Now we'll slide our caliper back on. Just put on a little dab of Loctite. Okay, so now we got the torque wrench set for 23 foot-pounds. It's not a lot. Okay, so now we just got to put the wheel back on. Okay, another thing you always want to make sure you do is torque your wheels. On this one here is 100 foot-pounds. Okay guys, we got it all done. Now she should be a tenth quicker in the quarter mile. Anyways, everything's all the slider pins have been re-greased. Everything's torqued on. If you happen to notice you got a sticky brake, that's probably what it is. That grease over time, it can harden up and it'll cause them calipers to stick. Anyway, I hope this video helps somebody out, and we'll catch you in the next one.